And I welcome all the folks from Illinois, all the folks hopefully from across the country that might be watching, and we invite all of you to help us volunteer in this critical state. As I have said many times before, and as Lenny could most likely repeat, in my opinion, and I think probably most of the people on this call, on the forum this evening, all roads to the White House lead through Wisconsin. So what motivated me to get involved? Well, I actually was canvassing in Wisconsin. I think 2018 is one of the first times, let alone maybe campaigning a little bit for Hillary Clinton. But 2018, I had the opportunity to canvass with the great group of Block. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Angela Lang. I recently have seen her on MSNBC. So she is quite the rock star, and that's what got it started. I think 200 of us Indivisibles campaigned and canvassed until we couldn't anymore. And all of us, with the leadership of West Dems, sort of turned the dial, and we all became phone bankers, texters, and we're all experts on Zoom, right? After that experience, I met a gentleman named David, and he was starting the Wisconsin Voter Protection Team. And now that team has grown, thank goodness, with Alexis and Ellen and JP and a lot of the other incredibly strong people in that group. And I actually was on the hotline with many other Indivisible people from Illinois. And it was quite an education. I can go on and on just about that. It was really informative for me. It really opened my eyes, and it really turned me into an advocate for mail-in ballots, not only for Wisconsin, but also for Illinois. And we have been working diligently with both states to help out as much as possible. This sort of depicts what was going on in Wisconsin in April, and we most definitely don't want this to happen again in November in Wisconsin and Illinois or anywhere. I used to have a lot of bullets and words on my deck, but it seems like these images really speak to folks more so. And this, I think, applies for any state. We hope and we encourage you to request your vote by mail, absentee ballot, whatever you're calling it. We are you to do it. And if you do so, I really think that some of the concern will be alleviated, and you'll see, as this nice image depicts, let's do it as soon as possible, online if possible, and let's not wait for the last minute and go back to those long lines or giving headaches to the election authorities. I'm now going to pivot. You might recognize Lori, the top middle there that I just introduced. And what we have at Indivisible Illinois, one of the many actions and activities that we have Working Wednesdays that Lori leads. We have had the opportunity to think and also get out the vote with the leadership of Hibba, whom you will be meeting soon. But we right now are doing Wisconsin voter protection calls. We had an amazing event last Wednesday. We showed the documentary Dress Rehearsal, which many of you might have seen. If you haven't, I really encourage you to go ahead and Google it and watch it. And I think Lori assembled more than 20 people. We hope all those people and more come back every Wednesday at 10 o'clock, and all of these things will be provided for you. Kelly is going to be posting this for us. So you'll see phone banking is fun. We had a lot of fun. We encourage you to join us. And I have some direction for you on this slide. You'll see the time of Working Wednesdays. We start out at 10, we finish at about 11:45. You'll see what type of work we do. We recruit poll workers, which is highly needed and recommended poll workers, and those are the folks that actually live in Wisconsin. We also recruit poll observers. I'm happy to say one of the people from one of my teams, Heartland Resistance Coalition, has signed up, has gone to training. She said the training was outstanding, so I'm excited for her and more people that join her. And we are also recruiting for hotline volunteers. You can sign up to receive weekly notification. That link is live once we send you this overall link, and there's the join link for Zoom. I am now going to, at last, bring in my friend Lori, and I just hope to ask her a couple of questions so we all can gain a better understanding of really what brought her to working Wednesdays. So before I do that, Lori, could you just once again introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Lori Ashikowa, and I live in Andersonville, Indivisible IL9. And I'm actually a professional violinist, but I'm out of work right now because of the pandemic. And I was thinking back to how Working Wednesdays started, and I just wanted to tell a quick little story. I remember my very last day at work on March 11th. I was playing a concert at Symphony Center, and it was almost as if a storm was coming because we all knew this was the last time we were going to be together. And by the weekend, the city had locked down, and I had been planning to go to Garfield Ridge to canvas for Marie Newman that weekend, but that was also canceled. We all retreated into our houses, and Lenny started this amazing time of 7 days a week at 10 a.m., including Sundays, where we would basically get together and talk about where do you get rubbing alcohol and where do you get toilet paper. And eventually, after we kind of got used to that, we started naming the days so we could keep track of where we were. So we had Social Sunday and Mindful Monday, and we had a different Wednesday name, but we were itching to get back to work. So I thought, oh, I'm just going to call it Working Wednesday, and we're going to do something at 10 a.m. And we ended up doing a lot of different things. We were doing letters to the editor workshops. We were doing watching city council, because this was right after George Floyd was murdered, and we were really concerned, we still are, about the Civilian Police Accountability Council. And then we started doing phone banking. And since so many of us knew about Angela Lang and her amazing work with Block in Milwaukee, we started with the Milwaukee Purge Project to help people to check that they had not been purged off of the registration rolls. And that just kind of segued into voter protection. So we started out as a kind of smallish group, but it's been growing. This week, the call that Rose just mentioned, we had over 20 people, and we had people from California, from Massachusetts, from Washington, D.C., and New York City. So I'd like to point out that that's 8 a.m. for Californians, but they are pretty excited about doing the work. And we have had a really great success rate. So what we do is from 10 to 10:30, we have a 30-minute training for newbies, people who have already been calling for us. They can mute themselves and just get started right away. We call from about 10:30 to 11:30, and then we debrief from 11:30 to 11:45. Although I'm thinking we might add on 15 minutes because it's getting down to the wire here, and we're having a lot of success. So one of our phone bankers, our prize phone banker who was in that picture there, Dick, he treats phone banking like sport fishing, and he was even phone banking during his vacation with his family on the road a few weeks ago. So this week he lingered on after the call. He called for 4.5 hours, and he found 9 volunteers, and he also found volunteers who were volunteering their family. So this is what we do, and we'd love to have you join us. The other thing that we are doing is, since we are allowed as Illinoisans to go up to Wisconsin and be poll observers, there are a group of us who are going to try to caravan up and try to do that either on election day or in the days leading up to election day. So please check out the link and sign up on the RSVP, and you'll get my weekly reminder on Mondays of what the action is. And I can also fill you in on any other kinds of volunteer works, like the voter protection hotline and being a poll observer from Illinois. Thanks, Rose.
Lori, thanks so much. I have one more question. It's a surprise question,
Oh,
but we talked about this earlier in the day. Yes, so I think you have it covered. We've been having a lot of discussions. There's so much to do, so much that can be done. This is what we've all been working toward for years now, and it's all very exciting, but we have a lot of options. So we had a discussion earlier today, Lori, about choosing what to do. Obviously, right now we can't Canvas so much. How did you go about selecting between, when we could actually, canvassing and phone banking and the other opportunities we have? How did you come up with phone banking as what Lori wanted to hang her hat on?
Well, it's interesting. Phone banking is my least favorite, or it used to be my least favorite activity. And I really enjoyed canvassing because it was outdoors, and I enjoyed meeting people face to face. And there was something kind of distanced about phoning. But I read statistics that really the most effective thing that you can do is phone bank right now. Before that, it was in-person canvassing. And since we can't do that, phone banking was always the second thing. And then after that was some other things like texting, which is really fun because you can crank out 50 texts in just a few minutes, but it's not as impactful as phone banking. And then I love doing postcards, but then again, those are not as impactful. And we have such limited time. I just feel that I wanted to do the thing that is going to get the most done in the limited hours that we all have. And so that's why I picked on phone banking.
Thank you, Lori. You made my job easy. You covered everything, and what you said was very compelling. And I thank you for being the leader of these phone banks and having such a powerful impact. Thank you for everything that you are doing.